Hey guys, No Gas Nico here. Thanks for watching. First, I want to say if you're not comfortable with wiring or doing anything electrical in your house, HVAC systems, hire a professional before doing all this. I'm going to go through this, show you how to do it start to finish on my system. I don't know your system, and I'm not an HVAC person. I am not licensed. I do not have the ability to answer your questions of why this doesn't work, why that doesn't work. So hire a professional for that. I know what to do on my system. Hopefully this will help you on yours. So here we go. I have this old thermostat. It's programmable, but it's kind of a dumb thermostat. You set it once and you have to go through the menus with these keys here to program it. It's not very intuitive. So what I want to do, I'm going to replace it with a Google Nest. Problem I don't have a common 24 volt wire. These things require constant power. So I could hire an HVAC person to get me power from my boiler. I checked the circuit board, the C wire connection on my boiler doesn't have any power. So instead of paying somebody to come out and figure all that out for a cheap solution, I got this. This is a plug-in transformer. I took it out of the box. It's a plug-in transformer. You just plug it into an outlet, run these wires into your thermostat, and it'll give you your 24 volt power. It's required for pretty much all, even though the Google Nest will run without it, it's going to blow through your batteries, and you're going to be changing batteries all the time, and you're probably going to get sick of it. So I would recommend doing this and not just killing batteries. So, all right, we're going to get started. Again, hire a professional if you don't feel comfortable. Let's get to it. All right, first thing you don't want to do is kill the power to your system. You don't want to be working on this live. So with these, pretty much all you do is pull them off the wall. Just get these pins that connect. And you can see here, you want to make note of the wires. For this, I have a jumper between RC and RH with this little red jumper here. I'll bring the camera in so you can take a better look. This blue wire is not utilized. Don't know, this could have been use for a common wire, but obviously it wasn't used in my system. And then I have the white wire going to the YB, and I do have a red wire coming into the RH. Now what it is RH is power. That's going to give you power. The RW or the W wire is heat. So when the thermostat kicks on, it will make the connection on this white wire and close the loop, and it'll know the boiler to kick on and fire. If you had cooling, you would be on the Y wire, and if you had a fan for fan only, that would be G. But I don't have any of that because I have a boiler, so I don't have a fan. I don't have central air, so I'm only going to be doing this in the white wire and the red wire. And then I'm also going to connect the transformer to give it power. So, all right, here we go. Okay, so first thing I want to do is, I know my red wire goes to the RH, white wire goes to the Y wire. So I'm not going to label these because I'm really only dealing with two wires. The Google Nest comes with labels, so you want to label all your different wires so you don't get confused when you go to plug them into your new connector. Two wires, I think I can keep that straight. So I know I already installed the Google Nest downstairs, and first thing Google Nest tells you to do is take the jumper wire, throw it away. You don't need it. Now I'm going to remove the power, the red wire, from the little terminal block. I got it tucked in here pretty good. Then I'm going to remove the white wire. Okay. Now I'm going to take the screws out that hold this in. Yeah, I see what color I used to have. I'm gonna have to do some painting here in a minute, but we'll save that. It's a good spring project while you have all the windows open. Okay, so let's open this bad boy up. Wrap it in plastic, and then they have this other protective. So let's do it this way. Oh, there we go. Peel that off. I should be able to open this up. So there's your Google Nest. Pull it out. It's got a protective cover for the screen. It does have a tab back here to make the batteries come in contact. Don't take that off yet. Underneath, got all kinds of instructions. Your connector. A couple mounting screws. Pretty simple. Just the wire connector, screws, and the Google Nest itself. So what you're going to do, it's got a little level bubble. That's got to be up. And you can tell it's got all the wire markings here, GR, OB, YC, W. Obviously you don't want to put those where they're upside down. So right side up. And what you want to do is put it right through where the hole's coming in. And what I do is I put a screw on the top, and then I will pivot it until I get that bubble to be level, and then I'll put a screw on the bottom and kind of fine tune it as we go. So yeah, and I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna have to step over here. So what I'm gonna do is kind of get that center in that slot. That way I can move it left and right if I have to. You can see how I can move it here. So I want to put it center. That way it gives me wiggle room. Now I'm going to look at that bubble. That's pretty close right now. I'm going to move it a little bit. Now that's perfectly centered in those two white little lines. It's got two little white lines. You just want to get the bubble come right in the middle of those two white lines. It's important in the thermostat to be level. If you want accurate readings, accurate temperature, you can take your time and do this right. If you don't, you're gonna have your wife, kids, husband, depends on who's installing it, all complaining to you. Temperature doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it's 69 in here. It doesn't feel like it's 72. So do yourself a favor. Take the time. Now my bubble's off a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust that. Alright, so I'm going to loosen this a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to just get it to where it's perfect. And I'm going to try to hold it in place while I tighten it down. She moved on me a little bit. There. So you can get it perfect if you want, but perfect's not always necessary. So moving on. Here, my W is on the bottom, so I know my white wire. Because now I already turned the power off, so remember that. Turn the power off first. So we're gonna connect that. And I know my red wire goes to R. Now, here's where it gets a little wonky. This thing needs a C-wire. I don't have a C-wire. So, like I said, we're going to use this little guy here. I got to get a wire track to make it look better, but right now the wire is just going to be dangling until I can button it up and make it look good. Reading the instructions on this, it basically says any wire can go to the C wire, the other wire has to go to the R, and you have to tap it. So basically you have this red wire and one of these wires together. Now if you go through the installation guide on the Google Nest, it's going to tell you do not double tap. This will not work unless you double tap. So you actually have to double tap it. So I'm going to go ahead, like I said, it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to put a C wire, connect one of these, and then I'm going to try to force this in here with the R wire. Let's take that R wire out. It's got a little bit of a sheathing kind of getting in my way. I'm going to try to strip that a little better. So let's trim it. Remove some of the, you don't have to remove a lot. It only goes in there about a 1/4 inch, so I barely got anything off on that one. That sheathing was a little messed up, so it wasn't allowing me to push this wire in as well. The one I got downstairs for the downstairs zone, I was able to do it without a problem. This one's being a little challenging. So again, the red is in the center. These are good and labeled. Fairly large labels too for people like me getting a little older and your eyesight's not as good. So let's go ahead and stick that off a little bit. I'll stick this in there with it. Does not want to go. So what if I do this one first and then stick the red wire, because the red wire is a solid wire where this one is stranded wire, and so this one might have a little more force. To be able to the holes are not very big. There it goes. Got them both. So I'm going to take a picture of that real quick so you can see how it's connected. And actually I'm going to trim that a little bit because there's kind of like that much wire hanging out. Alright, so everything's connected. See the picture right here? The blue wire in the back there, put an arrow to it. That's not connected to anything. It's actually stuffed back in there. Even though you can see the blue wire, it's not landed on any of these terminals. So I'm not using it because I don't have cooling, I don't have a fan. That wire is not needed for my system. Again, my system, this is how you install for heating only systems. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to plug in that transformer, I'm going to turn the boiler on, and we're going to go through and actually start setting up the Google Nest. And I'll show you that start to finish. Alright, so let's set up our new thermostat. Right here it says set it up in the app. You cannot get this thing to work unless it's connected to your app. So we're going to go to settings, add a device, new device, select your home. You might have to set up Google Home. If you don't have a Google Home account, you're gonna have to set that up. I've already done that, so it's fairly easy to do. You just download the Google Home app from the App Store. Now it says, what are you setting up? I'm going to go here and select thermostat down the bottom. Now it says Nest thermostat. There's a QR code here, so when I hit Nest thermostat, it gives me a little picture, and then I will just scan the barcode. Once it captures it, it says, hey, let's set it up. Everything's already installed, so let's go ahead and hit continue. Agree if you agree to that. If you don't want to agree, that's your choice. Now everything's already installed, but I'm going to go through the screens just to show you. It's step by step, tells you how to do it. So it tells you what you need to have. Then check your system, turn it off, remove the cover. These are things you guys already see me do. And is it an electrical box? No. Take a photo of the wiring. 2 wires. I can remember that, so I'll skip. It's thinking. Check for high voltage. I know it's not high voltage because I just put this 24 volt transformer in. So I'm going to say not high voltage. Remove the jumper wires, like I told you before. Do any of them have 2 labels? I'm going to say no. Now I had a W, R, and now I have a C wire because that's what its transformer is. So I'm going to hit next. It tells me to label them, then disconnect. I don't have a trim kit. I might get one because this paint and little wall anchors and stuff, and there's a few other holes from other thermostats that were in there, so you can kind of see the circle of the original dial thermostat from the 50s. So I'm not using a trim kit. Pull it through, attach the base, make sure the bubble's level. A few things, make sure that they're there, tuck the wires neatly, make sure the wires are inside the areas as shown above, so you want to make sure they're all in here. It's important, otherwise this thing won't sit flush and it won't make the connections. It connects these little holes. So now connect the wires, which we did. Remove the battery tab. So I'm going to remove that. Put it over here. It's just this little tab here. All right. Next, I'll attach the thermostat. So I'm going to set this phone down real quick and make sure these wires are all within this little circle. And I had to notch the bottom of this. Since this wire doesn't come up behind and out, this sits really snug flush against here and would crimp this wire if I didn't notch it. So I actually had to take a box cutter and I made a little notch right there. You can maybe see it with my finger in the way. That's to allow space for that wire. So I'm going to go ahead and try to attach this and wiggle my wire into the notch. And it seems to be in place. So next, switch the power back on, which I already did. Now it's ready to configure, so I'm going to hit next. Now it's connecting to the thermostat. It's looking for it. I had some troubles with this in the past for the one downstairs, and I think a lot of it had to do because I was missing the C wire. So let's see what happens. It's connected. Perfect. Yes, English. I speak English. Now what it's doing is doing a little wire check. Test your system's power. Okay, I hit start test. It's testing the power. Under a minute remaining. I like how it tells you that. A little spinning circle. Connected. Getting your home network ready. Fun stuff. Connecting to your device. Connecting to Wi-Fi. This may take a minute. And you see me do this from start to finish, so it's not very long to install one of these. As long as you get the right tools, which Phillips screwdriver and wire cutter. You can even strip wires with a pair of scissors. Don't tell any electricians I said that. They'll hang me. Actually, I have a good friend of mine's an electrician. Childhood friend. If he heard me say that, he'd kill me. But it's true, I've done it. Connecting to Wi-Fi, connecting to Wi-Fi, connecting to Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is a cellular hotspot, which I think I went over my allowed data, so it's kind of slow right now. They throttled me down. It renews tomorrow, so probably would have been better filming this tomorrow. And I'll pause the video and we'll get back to it. Alright, looks like we finally got the Wi-Fi to connect. So I'm going to go to my guest, hit next. Use save password, okay, because my other Nest has the same password already put into my Google account. So it's connecting to Wi-Fi, testing the connection, finishing up. Perfect. And once this is all said and done, I'll be able to set temperatures. I'll be able to go ahead and set schedules, which is nice if you want a different temperature when you sleep. All right. Again, confirm address. Next. Yes. Now this is, let's see, does it have upstairs, living room, kitchen? This is pretty much, I'm going to make a custom room. Next, and I'm going to name it upstairs. Oops, not upset. If it's not the right temperature, the wife would be upset. Upstairs. Thermostat. Done. Continue. Now it says I want to do schedules, get started, set presets, comfort, eco, sleep, go next, automatically change, you can go through these. I kind of don't want this schedule. I want to have the same schedule as I have downstairs, so you can play around with these. I'm just going to leave them the way they are. I'm just going to hit next. I'm going to not now skip this. But you can do all kinds of routines. HVAC monitoring. Not now. Not now. That stuff I don't want. I don't need spams. Nest renew. I don't think so. Next. You're all set. Done. So this is doing an update. I'm going to go back to my home screen. Now you can see my dining room and my upstairs. So there we go. Now they're starting to read. I'm 69 degrees upstairs. Can't be 78 degrees downstairs. If it is, I have problems. Alright, but you can see you can control error because I'm downloading, so it must be doing an update. My downstairs thermostat shows comfort 67 degrees. Right now it says it's 78 degrees indoors. I'm going to have to go check that because that doesn't seem right. So there you go. I'll stop the screen recording. That's how you install it. And this is downloading. I'll be able to set schedules, control it. You can also connect your Google Nest to your Amazon account, so you can work it with Alexa. That's what I'm doing here. And there you go. If you like this content, click the like button, subscribe, share it with somebody who's buying one of these and they're having a problem with the C-wire. This is a great, very inexpensive, I think it was less than 20 bucks for this wire. And of course I'm going to clean it up, make it look a little better, but perfect solution for those of you that don't have a C-wire but want a smart thermostat. All right, thanks for watching. Again, No Gas Nico, and God bless. This video is completely my opinion. I'm not paid by anybody. I get no sponsorships. I make no money off YouTube. So everything you hear here, seen here, is from me personally. And I'll have more videos to come on other projects I do around here, trying to update this house with smart switches, smart plugs, smart thermostats, just trying to turn this old house into a smart house.